Hello and welcome to CNR Extra here on Citi TV with me, Larte. In the next 1 hour, Accra Circuit Court denies bail to alleged illegal miner Aisha Huang again. Also coming up, Ghana Armed Forces confiscate 12 excavators in the Ashanti region as it makes moves to stop illegal mining. Still ahead, some youth in the K2 South municipality of the Volta region demonstrate over the activities of 7C Salt Company, which operates in the area.
They've created that is holding enough water, had drowned about 3 people already. And the recent one was a mother and 3 children.
And much later, Greater Accra region records 1 death and over 50 cases of monkeypox.
All the 54 that are alive now are doing very well. There is none in hospital, on hospital admission. They are all doing well.
Hello once again. This show, as always, is interactive. We want to hear from you as you join us with your views and comments via WhatsApp on 0550585823. Alternatively, and let's hear from you on our various social media platforms where this show is currently streaming live on Facebook and on Twitter. Joining me in studio today for our discussion is my colleague and court correspondent, Sixtus Dong-Ullo. Sixtus, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Nee.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Well, let's zoom straight into our stories now and begin from the corridors of illegal mining, especially because galamsey queen Aisha Huang appeared in court again yesterday for the 3rd time. Unfortunately, her lawyers failed to secure bail for her. She is facing some charges as far as illegal mining is concerned. Here's a wrap of what transpired in court yesterday.
The Accra Circuit Court 9 has again denied bail to alleged illegal miner Aisha Huang and 3 others. Lawyers for the Chinese national said the continuous detention of the accused persons was sending the wrong signals to the international community.
Now, lawyer Captain retired Krabia Ifadate was worried that the impression being created was that foreign nationals would not find justice before the courts of Ghana.
The prosecution, however, argued that the accused persons, though foreign nationals, were bound by provisions of the law as much as any citizen would be.
His Honor Justice Samuel Bright Aqua, however, took the view that the offences brought against the accused persons were serious, considering the effect of illegal mining on the country's water bodies.
On the basis of that, His Honor Samuel Bright Aqua refused the bail application and ordered their continual remand. Aisha Huang and 3 others will thus reappear on October 12, 2022.
So yesterday, the lawyers failed to secure bail for Aisha Huang on the basis that the judge felt that the allegations brought against Aisha Huang were very grave, and as a result, as far as illegal mining is concerned, he believes that she has to remain in police custody at least for the next 2 weeks. Well, Sixtus, interestingly, how you have been following this particular story, don't you think there is some merit in what the judge has been saying?
Well, let's look at it this way, that this particular case is being fought on 2 fronts. You have a strong court of public opinion on this matter, which is strongly against Aisha Huang and any other person engaged in illegal mining. It doesn't matter whether you are Chinese, you are Japanese, you are Ghanaian, it doesn't matter. So long as you are involved or engaged with galamsey, there's a strong public opinion against you. The second level then becomes the court of law. And so when you listen to lawyers for all the Chinese nationals who are currently before the court, there are 3 lawyers in this matter, you realize that they are struggling so hard to, on the one breath, fight what is happening in the court of public opinion, and at the same time fight what is happening in court
itself.
Unfortunately for them, what is happening in the court of public opinion, at least from the conversations that they have presented in court, seem to be influencing what is happening in court.
And so that's why the lawyer for Aisha Huang is raising serious concerns over there, because I listened to him yesterday, and then he was of the view that the judge is being prejudicial as far as the issue is concerned, and he was very strong on it.
Well, he is careful not to use the word, but from all indications, that is exactly what he's hinting at, that the judge is allowing himself to be strongly swayed by what is happening in the court of public opinion. So in court, for instance, yesterday, he said that the judge should limit himself, and let me use the word he used. He said, I strongly urge the court to limit itself to the 2 charges that are before the court, and not to concern itself with anything that is happening outside the courtroom. And again, don't forget, the same lawyer has waged a war against the media, because he believes that the media is strongly influencing that public opinion against the Chinese nationals. So as to whether the judge is being swayed or not, it comes down to the fact that the judge, per the law, has discretion in this matter.
But could it also be that the judge handling this particular case is also thinking that how this particular case is handled will send strong signals to the international community, especially as to government resolve to ending illegal mining? So although every offense is bailable, he is not very much convinced at this particular moment to grant bail. Doesn't it lie in his bosom?
He said as much. He said as much in court on Tuesday. He said that considering all the troubles that Ghana has had with illegal mining, it is time for the courts to take a strong stance. Again, I'm quoting him. The courts, and he's not just referring to his courts, the courts generally have to take a strong stance like everyone else in this matter. So, yes, and there's an acknowledgement that galamsey has become an evil spirit, bedeviling the country. And that there's a need for something to be done about it. And what can be done about it? It shouldn't just be the public commentary. It shouldn't just be left to Parliament to deal with. It shouldn't just be left to the executive to deal with. His Honor Samuel Bright Aqua believes that the judiciary has a strong role to play in this matter. And he said he made that point strongly. Well, in the discussions after court, there are those who have argued that the posturing he's showing now may not be healthy. I personally disagree with that. I think that, in things like this, there's something they call public policy considerations. The courts in everything else would also consider public policy and can always argue the implications of one particular decision on the generality of the citizenry, on the public interest, on the public concerns. And if you look at galamsey, he made the point at the last adjourned date that it is not a matter that affects only humans. The forests and its ecosystem,
they are all being affected.
The river bodies are affected, and the embodiments of the rivers are also being affected. So it goes beyond you and I talking about it. And
that's
so he
why
believes that all structures
the
must be
counsel
involved.
for Aisha Huang must exercise some form of restraint, allow the judge to carry out his duty as far as this case is concerned. But
not exactly. Remember, he also has a duty.
Yes,
he has a duty to defend, not just to defend, to the best of his ability. So if you listen to Captain retired in Krabia Efadate yesterday, he said that the signal that is being sent out is wrong. And it was obvious that he was trying very hard to go beyond the law, to play an emotional game so that the judge would be swayed either by reason or by emotion. So he also used international relations and diplomacy, the impact or effects of this on Ghana's relations with the Chinese, for instance.
Well, Sixtus, let's see how this particular development unfolds. But at least we know that Aisha Huang is expected to spend at least some 2 more weeks in police custody. But away from that, Yesterday, the question on the mind of a lot of Ghanaians was the fact that is the fight against galamsey really something that a government is trying to deal with? Because yesterday, an anti-military galamsey task force stormed some parts of the Ashanti region to crack the whip on some persons alleged to be engaging in illegal mining activities. There is more in this video.
Despite sustained efforts by the government and civil society aimed at clamping down on illegal mining, popularly known as galamsey, the activity, rather disappointingly, is booming in the Ashanti region as more community members, including women and children, have gotten involved.
Now, checks in major mining communities within the Amansia South and Achimampunya districts show that vast farmlands have been destroyed and the illegal miners have blocked or diverted the course of various water bodies, causing immense pollution.
The Ghana Armed Forces, under the Operation Hold 2, has arrested one illegal miner and confiscated 12 excavators within the areas and further destroyed other mining equipment. Citi News' Bureau Chief for the Middle Belt, Edward Oponma, who joined the military on an almost 24-hour operation and now...
The level of devastation. Vast lands have been destroyed because they engage in illegal operations here, and it happens within a number of communities within the Ashanti region.
More persons, both indigenes and migrants, in many mining communities have made it a major activity to engage in galamsey. Within the Amansia South district, for instance, the practice is common in areas such as Manso Datano, Manso Dadiase, Manso Takrasi, among others. It is no secret that people in these areas openly engage in the act. Women and children are very much involved in the act. Some serve as spies and alert the illegal miners. Once an anti-galamsey team gets to any of the communities, these illegal miners are mostly armed, as guns and bullets were retrieved at some of the sites when they started fleeing following the arrival of the Operation Hold 2 team. The almost 24-hour operation was started on Monday and run into the early hours of Tuesday was aimed at seizing various mining equipment used by the galamsey operators. The military then destroyed shelter and other items used by the illegal miners. The team seized excavators on site and drove them to Datano police station, removed the batteries and control boards, and then left the excavators in the care of the police. Some other mining equipment were bent on the sites. Others, in their bid to outsmart the team, moved the excavators from the mining sites and parked them in front of their houses. But the military team seized them and subsequently took same to the police station. One, which the owners had deliberately taken keys away, was bent, while two others were destroyed. A vehicle and a motorbike at the galamsey site were seized as well. Farmers in the area have been lamenting the adverse effects of galamsey in the area on the activities. Ajodoma is a farmer at Mansuda Diase. A young man who had his excavator seized by the team, Akwasi Abua, admits that the operations are causing serious distractions to the environment, but believes they do not have any other option considering their current circumstances.
Omo mo emi ni mo bia be free the srem ho honi we pen chop money. Enti galamsey dey here wa ana ase ese won tumi mfam. Omo mo emi ni mo bia be free the srem ho honi we pen chop money. Omo mo emi ni mo bia be free the srem ho honi we pen chop money. Omo mo emi ni mo bia be free the srem ho honi we pen chop money.
Akwasiabwa believes coming up with laws to properly regulate mining in the area is the appropriate solution to the menace. At the Chumampunya district, a similar operation was undertaken. One person was arrested, while other mining equipment were confiscated. The confiscated excavators were left in the care of the district assembly. The military team that is embarking on the exercise believes this will gradually discourage people from the act. Citi News observed that in the early hours of Tuesday, more vehicles used to convey excavators were being sent to some of the mining areas after the operation to supposedly transport the excavators that the team did not see and seize. The galamsey economy appears to be booming in these mining communities. Seizing or destroying the excavators come at a huge cost to the owners, since the residents tell Citi News that they rent out the excavators to the illegal miners for about 9,000 Ghana cedis for 8 hours.
Illegal miners are operating with impunity in various mining communities in the country. In some cases, they are diverting the course of various rivers and they are destroying water bodies. And as such, stakeholders will have to come up with more strategies that will help address this issue comprehensively. For Citi News, I'm Edward Upon Marfo, Mansoda Diase.
A lot of arable lands are being destroyed, water bodies are being polluted, a lot of interventions by governments are being rolled out, but it appears there is no end in sight for our fight against illegal mining. Sixtus, is it not really serious? Because year after year we see governments roll out a number of interventions to ensure that we curb or we nip this particular illegal activity in the bud, but people are still going in to engage in. What really could the problem be?
That questions the strategies that we roll out. I mean, who are the people we arrest in these galamsey? So when the military storms a particular site, who do they arrest? The immediate people they find there. Those people are not, they have really no impact on
we really have to
galamsey.
Go after the real people behind this act.
The real people. If you go and arrest those people, they have nothing to do with it. They are merely earning a daily bread. They are there on, what do they call it, by day basis. You work a day, and you are paid something, you move away.
The next day you
have
there
no,
again.
in fact, you don't even know who owns the place and all of those things.
What matters to you is your money.
Exactly. So we need to go beyond the visits. We need to go beyond the arrest of the people, the low-hanging fruits. No, those are not the real culprits. We have had a lot of conversations about this in the Ashanti region particularly. We've heard about how people are accusing the Otumfo himself has cautioned his chiefs against it. If their involvement is found out, they would have themselves to blame. We have heard people accuse
some political
actors and all of that. Those are the people we should be going after. I don't believe in the banning of the excavators.
I agree with you 100% because look, I also believe that any action as far as our fight against illegal mining is concerned, if that action does not go after the political actors, it does not go after, you know,
we are just wasting
our time. And for you to even mention how we even handle these excavators, it's really much of a problem. They are seized, they are banned.
See, in the report we have just seen, how many were banned? Ask
12
yourself,
we are told were confiscated yesterday.
So ask yourself, how many rural districts will need such machines to be able to work on their roads or construct general construction works? I mean, yes, I will agree that the incident at Elembele recently, the scuffle, if you like, between the
disappearance
DC and the police about disappearance of some excavators, it should give us a cue. I mean, caution those of us who are advocating that the confiscated machines should be sent to the district. But I think that the machines will have more use to the country if they are sent to the various districts and taxed the chief executives to ensure that the machines are utilized for the benefit of the communities. I mean, if you send it to the district, the DCE is in charge. If he gets missing, he's arrested.
Yes, and he's held responsible. And for me, a lot of money is also being pumped into these interventions government rolls out year after year. We know of the national stakeholder consultation meeting that was held. So for us, illegal mining is concerned, we are pumping money.
What came out of it?
Nothing really. And year after year, you see government lip service saying all manner of things, but we are not seeing real actions. And that's where the problem is. So it gives credence to the fact that maybe we are just not serious about how we are tackling this particular issue.
And that also questions government's commitment. I mean, we've heard the rhetorics. We've heard, I am putting my presidency on the line. We've heard that. We've heard, if you are arrested, you will be dealt with. It doesn't matter which party you belong to or who you are. We've heard that. We've heard, if you are caught in the act, 1, 2, 3 will happen to you. But beyond those rhetorics, what happens? Nothing.
Well, government should end the lip service as far as our fight against illegal small-scale mining is concerned. Let's see some real action so that we are able to tell Ghanaians or the citizens at large that indeed we are against illegal mining. Let's go to the Volta region now, because some residents in the Ketu South municipality say they will have none.
Some concerned youth in the Ketu South municipality are calling on government and the minerals regulatory body to halt activities of the 7C Salt Company operating in the area. The residents this morning took to the streets of Denu and Toko in the Ketu South municipality to express their grievances, as they noted that operations of the company has not been beneficial to them, but rather caused lives to be lost. 7 lives have so far been lost after some persons fell into a dike created by the 7C Salt Mining Limited.
So what you see to my right-hand side is a mammoth crowd drawn from the Ketu South municipality protesting the operations of a salt mining company in Adina, 7Cs. Their concern is mainly over the area you see to my left, which is an area they say does not fall within the lot allowed by law to 7C to operate their salt mining activities in. This is also where some people have lost their lives because of the dikes you see where salt mining activities have been going on. I have with me the assemblyman for the area to help us understand what exactly their concerns are.
We have come out in our numbers to demonstrate against something which we have never seen before. For some time now, we just noticed some people who came to our lagoon where we get our livelihood from. We noticed that they are white men, and we asked them questions, and what they told us is that they were given the place by the government to come and do assaults here, or they come and do their business here. There's no documentation, there's nothing to show that they were given the authority to come and do. And so we make several attempts to stop them not to come and do whatever they want to do.
Okay, tell me what happened here. Is this where the people lost their lives?
Yes, it came to some time now, about 2 months, 3 months ago. We lost somebody. We just do communal labor at one of the community here. So they just go, they enter the water to go and bath. After bathing, one of them lost their life in the water. And so it came to our notice so that the following day, I think 2 months later, another person lost his life at Nogoko. And what is happening now is that one of our Unicom team members is a former Unicom team member who went to the lagoon with his wife and children, and all of them, 4 of them lost their lives.
So the wetland is basically shallow water. I mean, it's not that deep. And so the claim is that the reason why those who lost their lives at the other side, which is just across where I'm standing now, is because dikes, which are deep holes, were created in these wetland areas without any notice of SABE. And so those who usually would just go to the lagoon to either fish or even swim or bath are likely to lose their lives if they don't know that the areas have been dug deep and there are dikes in those areas. We have come to realize that they have secured a permit from Minerals Commission to mine salt at Adina and its enclave. But unfortunately, just last year, we realized that they started expanding their work to cover part of Adafieno, Hejrano, Nogokpo, and the likes.
which were not initially part of their concession. And so the assembly members of that electoral area approached them and some stakeholders to stop their activities, but they couldn't heed to the calls of the assembly members. What we realized later on was that they have created deep holes to form a dike, and those holes were left uncovered. So when it rained, the whole place got flooded. As usual, the fishermen there went to fish. So this year alone, the holes that they've created that is holding enough water had drowned about 3 people already. And the recent one was a mother and 3 children. You can imagine that. So we are all peeved, and then we realize that there is the need for us to go onto the street to shout for the whole world to know the illegality being perpetrated by this company.
But it's like, if you are saying that the company does not have the documentation that covers these areas, why are you not using the legal approach? Why are you not going through a court to stop them?
We have tried to solicit support from our MCE, who is our immediate boss, so that if they have a document, they should show it to us. We have tried all other means, but it is not yielding any results. Well, we see that getting onto the road, for now, yes, is the best way to go. And secondly, we'll take a legal action against the company.
What happens if they don't hear the call you're making now? And, you say you go to court.
Of course. Of course, we are resorting to court. Ghana is a country of laws. It's governed by laws. So we're going to tell the law this time around.
This company has an interesting history in this area. From around 2016, the name changed to 7 Seas. Before then, it was a Kensington Salt Company, and there were a lot of banter between the company and the natives. The natives who were, especially in the Dinab Blakusu areas, who were mainly salt dealers, were complaining that the operations of the Kensington Company at the time was denying them their livelihood, which was salt mining. The company has transmogrified into 7 Seas, and the complaints are now that they are encroaching on areas that they do not seem to have legal authority to operate in, and they are thus causing the people to lose their lives. Recently, an entire nuclear family lost their lives in some of the dikes here, and others, I understand one other young man lost their life in an area here. For Citi News, I'm Benjamin Aklama.
Well, residents in the Ketu South area are obviously not happy with the activities of the 7 Seas Salt Mining Company. They fear that their lives are really in danger, and so they want the appropriate action be taken against the companies. But for me, I want to believe if the environmental impact assessment was done in this case because of the nature of the operations of this particular company, because this is a situation that is not leaving residents with health conditions, but as well as taking away their lives.
To the extent that members of the assembly even have a problem with this, and we just heard the assemblyman who spoke, efforts they have made to get the documentation, the contracts from the assembly, he has just told us, it's so far been difficult. That shouldn't be. You see, we have so debased the role of the local assemblies in national development to the extent that every structure and substructure has become a rubber stamp. I mean, beyond the usual community entry, feasibility study, environmental impact assessment, and all of those things, the engagement at the community level should have also included the residents, the assembly members, unit committee, opinion, all of those people, so that before the projects even took off, they would have all been on one page as to what can affect them negatively and how to avert that.
And could also be that the regulatory body in this case, is it the Environmental Protection Agency and even all other relevant stakeholders there, is it that they are not doing proper checks? Because I want to believe that in this particular case, they'll have to mount some warning signs, they have to do regular checks to ensure that lives are not endangered and all that.
It's just a question of inaction. Even if they did not go through all these processes that they were supposed to have gone through, or even if they did go through those processes, there was somebody lost their life, nothing happened. An entire family lost their lives, nothing happened. There was a first demonstration or public protest, no response. There's a second one, no response.
response.
So what at all should the citizens do again for their voices
and
to be
it's funny
heard?
how the company even thinks that it has not been engaged in any form of wrongdoing, because they think that they are operating responsibly. And for
we engaged the
yeah.
company on Eyewitness
yeah.
News, and this issue came up. And the company believes that it has engaged all those who have to be engaged. The company believes that the people making the noise about this are disgruntled. I mean, you see, this doesn't leave us anywhere. It doesn't send us anywhere. It means that we should expect more deaths without any action.
Well, the company has a responsibility of ensuring that the area in which it operates is safe for all and sundry, so that the activities do not put the lives of ordinary residents in danger. So they should collaborate with the relevant stakeholders to ensure that the operations are made in a very safe manner. But this is still CNR Extra here on Citi TV with me, Larte, and Sixtus Dong-Ullo. Still to come, Greater Accra region records 1 death and over 50 cases of monkeypox. Please stay with us. Welcome again to CNR Extra here on Citi TV. My name is Larte. We want to hear from you as far as your views and comments are concerned on the stories we've been bringing you here on the program. You can do that. Feel free and send us your message on 0550585832, or you can drop in your comment below our live stream on Facebook and on Twitter. In studio with me is Sixtus Dong-Ullo. Well, the Greater Accra region was once the hotspot of Ghana's COVID-19 infections. Gradually, it appears that we are having to deal with another outbreak, which is monkeypox, and more cases are being recorded in the region. Well, the Ghana Health Service, the Greater Accra Regional Health Directorate, has been on the lookout.
Let's do more stories. And the Greater Accra Regional Health Directorate has confirmed 55 cases of monkeypox with 1 death as of September 15, 2022. The Health Directorate says 33% of the cases were recorded in the Accra metropolis. There's more in the following report by Citi News' Ni Ayikwe.
The monkeypox outbreak was declared a global public health emergency of international concern by the World Health Organization on July 23, 2022, when Ghana had recorded 34 of the cases, with over 50% in the Greater Accra region. Providing an update on the disease at the 2022 annual meeting of the Greater Accra Regional Coordinating Council, the Regional Director of Health, Dr. Charity Sapon, said as of September 15, 2022, 55 cases had been recorded, with 1 confirmed dead.
So there are 16 out of 29 districts had confirmed cases. I must say that all the 54 that are alive now are doing very well. There is none in hospital, on hospital admission. They are all doing well in their homes. And 33% of these cases came from Accra Metro.
Dr. Charity urged the government to ensure the timely disbursement of the National Health Insurance Scheme funds to help tackle such outbreaks.
Between RCC and the Regional Health Management Team, and then the MMDAs and the Metro, Municipal and District Health Directorates, in the delivery of comprehensive quality health services throughout the region. We also want to intensify NHIS registration so that lack of finance will not be a barrier to seeking access to health care.
On his part, the Greater Accra Regional Minister Henry Korte bemoaned the increasing rate of street vending in the Central Business District, despite series of interventions to deal with the concern.
The Greater Accra region has not been properly managed, leaving in its wake a host of challenges, which includes waste and environmental management, boundary disputes, security challenges, perennial flooding, and insanitary conditions of our cities and municipalities, chieftaincy and land disputes, poor roads and traffic management, springing up of slums and sprouts at unauthorized places and other public spaces in the MMDAs. Street hawking is a major challenge for us in the city. and it continues to be. I wonder how, when, and at what point we collectively, as a people, can deal with it. When you go to other jurisdictions, those of you who want to go to Dubai, you hardly find one person standing by the roadside selling. In fact, even in Togo, you can't stand there and sell. But these days, they tell you, somebody will tell you, and you see, what bothers me is they tell you in the media, oh, I have 3 children. I'm a single parent. Where is their father? Next year, when you go back, they'll tell you, I have 5 children. That means they produce solo. They want to produce, the factory producer.
He also reiterated the government's commitment towards the demolition of unlawfully erected structures on the Sakumono Ramsar site.
I wish to use this opportunity to caution those engaged in selling government lands and deploying land guards to desist from it, as the Regional Security Council will deal swiftly with any acts of lawlessness from such groups. So, Mark, I'm told some people said, oh, Ramsar, I'm not coming. Tell them we are coming. You see, we always want to cook the food in the kitchen. Make sure we put in the spices and everything. But I can assure you, we are close to dishing the food. So Ramsar, very soon, inshallah, will be there. And those who have been going to those Osofos, I'm told that a particular Osofo has thrown a bet that is waiting for me to pull down the house of God. Even in the Bible, Jesus Christ cautioned those who were gambling in the house of God. The fact that it's a church does not necessarily mean that it must be constructed in a waterway.
55 cases of monkeypox, 33% of these cases being recorded in the Accra metropolis. And just when the World Health Organization is saying that COVID is almost over, Ghana Health Service also says that Ghana is Marburg-free. We've had to deal with monkeypox, and the Greater Accra region is gradually becoming the hotspot of these infections.
I thought we would have learned all our lessons from the COVID-19 outbreak. And probably put in some measures, flowing from COVID-19, beg your pardon, to ensure that some of these things are somehow containable. Why do I say this? We should have by now studied and understood the demographics within the Greater Accra area. If you like, the AMA, Medina, Tema, Line, Quantana, all those big areas within the Greater Accra region. That would give us a sense as to how to handle some of these things. The only reason Greater Accra probably became the hotbed for COVID-19 at the time was the fact that there were too many segments of the population that could not simply be contained. Their livelihood depended on the fact that they needed to have these daily runs, whether around the market area, around the lorry stations, in all those public spaces. And so how do we target these kinds of populations? And where we have reached with monkeypox, it's about communication. What is the level of engagement? And is it just that press conferences we grant, or there's some other design that would target all these people wherever they are? So are we reaching out to the market women and men in their market spaces? Are we telling them how to, handle themselves against monkeypox? Are we reaching out to the drivers around the lorry stations, beyond which we'll then be talking about those of us who bought the vehicles or those of us who walk into the market spaces to buy? So I think that we need to rethink or re-strategize how we approach these outbreaks within Greater Accra?
Well, Sixtus, I think the Ghana Health Service has learned some lessons, and as a health and management body, they have also picked up what they can do to stem the spread. But I pretty much believe that maybe they are resource constrained. That's why they are having difficulties as far as containing this particular infections. Because look, this is a country we are dealing with a lot of issues. You know how from the outset
I think it's always easy to play the resource constraint card. Every assembly has a public health unit.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, and I mean basically the work of that public health unit, beyond every other thing, is also involved sensitization, public awareness creation,
which is very key in controlling some of these outbreaks. Now, are we just limited? And that's why I broke the region down to the local levels. Areas. So that if we came to the AMA, at the assembly level, what is the public health unit doing to deal with monkeypox? So that by the time Ghana Health Service comes down to the region and to the local assembly area, the public health unit would have had some solution to offer. Or at least only be waiting for the regional level or national level to come and augment what they are doing. Well, so I am not discounting the fact that there may be resource constraints, but I just think that there's a step further we could always take, you know, using the various units. But I think that in most of the instances, the problem is that every little bit of the action is centralized within a particular office. Well, somebody has to run the show, and that is part of our problem. Well, but residents also have a responsibility to ensuring their own protection. The precautionary measures are pretty much the same. Sanitize, wear your face mask when you go out there, try as much as possible to be socially distant from,
and don't stop using the nose masks and the sanitizers.
But the Greater Accra Regional Minister, his Accra Make Accra Work Again, he seems to be facing some challenges because he's still not been able to deal with the hawkers, street vendors, and all that.
That's to be expected. that is to be expected. I mean, you don't take on such a campaign and not expect opposition. In fact, we have seen the opposition from his own party. So I think he started off well. I have to admit that.
That's fine.
What excited me was the public engagement he had. He met with former regional ministers. He met with MMDCEs. He met
did
with
a lot of work,
MPs, I think. He met with various stakeholders. He engaged with the leadership of the Markets Association, transport unions, and all of those things.
The engagement was there.
It was there. But I think that was it. I think that once he engaged them the first time and he rolled out the campaign, with all the backlash he got, he did not go back to the stakeholders. And I think he has to do that.
Well, residents of the Greater Accra region, please don't make the work of the Greater Accra Regional Minister difficult. But let's go to the Ashanti region, where a 23-year-old house help has died under some strange circumstances. There is more in this video.
Meanwhile, police at Ejiso are investigating the death of a 23-year-old female house help at Anwomaso in the Ashanti region. The deceased, Ikuachem, died on Sunday, and her relatives suspect foul play, alleging her mistress could be behind her death. Police have, however, picked up the woman who the deceased lived with and worked for. Citi News' regional correspondent, Hafiz Tijani, reports.
According to the deceased relatives, the 23-year-old has lived and worked as a house help at this apartment at Anwomaso with her mistress. The mistress, however, reported the death of the 23-year-old girl to them on Sunday after depositing the body at a morgue at the Emina Hospital. The deceased grandfather narrates the incident to Citi News.
Oni maami bi ete wo Anwomaso akola no ye twitwa ne sekan ama na wu na menti ase me bisa se eyeden na ye twitwa ne sekan eti ye pe maami no contact number maami na oni me nana no ete no me pe ne contact number ana me bisa ne se maami eyeden mate se me nana na furu na eyeden ana o se akola no pie wa amada ekopema homache be se 1 am ɛna akwadaa no bɛbɔ gate mu obi no ɛna ɛsɛ sɛ ɔsɔ ne nsa ɛna ɔne no ɛkɔ ɛdan mu ɛna ebisa no sɛ na ɔbaa yɛ a ɔsɔ ne mu no akwadaa no na wɔ nam sɛn uhu sɛn wɔ no na wɔkyerɛ biribi sɛ yɛabo no ɛna ɔbaa yɛ anasɛ tɛ ɔno sɛ wɔho hwee na akwadaa no yɛ din ɛna sɛ na mo sɛ yɛtwitwa ne sekan ɛna wɔwuo ɛti ɛberɛ a ɔfiri abɔnten baeɛ no atade a na ɛhyɛ no na emogya wɔ mu anasɛ ne mogya nim ɛna ɔsɛ ne mogya nim ɛna ntuo ho sɛ yɛtwa ne ho nam baabi ɛna ɔsɛ daabi na naso nifa no ɛna ɔno sɛ emogya efiri naso mu ba ɛna bi sɛ na 1 am a wohu sɛ akwadaa naso emogya efiri mu ba no ɛdeɛ ba adeɛ na ayɛyɛ sɛ wode ne kɔ hospital na sɛ obi sɛ akwadaa sɛ ɛdeɛ bɛ na ɛyɛ no a naso emogya firi mu ba wɔsɛ wɔde wanka hwɛ ankyerɛ no ɛna ɔma akwadaa no ɛkɔkɔ daeɛ ɛti ɔkɔda from 1 am ɛnura no adeɛ kyɛn no pa bɛyɛ sɛ 6 ɛna ɔno nso so maame no wɔ abaayewa baako ɔbɛyɛ 12 years ɛna akwadaa no ɛbɛka kyerɛ ɔmaame no sɛ wɔnyane akuya ɛnyane.
The mistress, whose name has been given only as Mama Jane, is currently in the custody of the Domiabra Police, while the Ejisu Divisional Police Command has taken over investigations. The deceased relatives say they suspect foul play in the death of the house help.
You call a Mena hospital, a whole normal body no aquacoto. You call me identify a Korana police for no report no mammy say, I am Mena a queer chamno. Ya odaho na nanim ne form no de ya hunu ne form na ne soro no na ya say I say woni obi enya entokwasem na wa struggle na nani ho etitin etimi mom de say ma me ka say akora na bontin de twitwa ne sekai e ma ne ba ya enya ne kore me suspect say ma me no akora no mom aye no boni bi na boni na bi akora ne ye no e na bufu e wonu mu no woni akora ne ye sa the treatment of the man no a result into her death. Say the pen say police ebe man kure aye aduma na maame so ye pese ohun say we no obi bate na sa akora no say wo ye bonefosem ana wo ye nkora asem bia enya anka nia wo de ne bra wo no fa akora no koman say eja akora na de ne bra say no ne ntra ne de wo ye no enye ma hwe yi ada che be kwa akofa asem abre me etije wade wutime me sandro no sa.
Police have picked up some implements from the residence of the mistress as part of their investigations.
Although police have begun investigations into the incident, relatives of the deceased are calling on the police to get to the bottom of the matter. Hafiz Tijani, Citi News, Ashanti region.
Really sad one there. The family of the deceased is suspecting foul play. We want to encourage the police to expedite their investigation as far as this issue is concerned. Well, Sixtus, is really disturbing developments coming from the Ashanti region. And
this is not the first disturbing news we have heard in the recent, yes.
Remember the story of the man who decomposed
body. And I mean, these stories are becoming too many. Yeah. And we are only reporting the investigation, but we're seeing
the end of these proofs.
Yes, and I think that we need to. But some words we don't joke with as a country is also say justice. We want justice to be done. So I think that to be fair to the woman, we all have to let the police do its job. Particularly the family. I mean, I listened to the grandfather of the girl, and I feel that the family has to allow the police to investigate.
Well, so the police in the Ashanti region try to find closure to this particular development. But this is still CNR Extra here on Citi TV. Still to come, government refused claims of Ghana likely to incur $1.5 billion financial loss in GNPC sensor deal. We are back with that story. You're welcome back to CNR Extra. The minority in Parliament is raising some concerns about some misappropriation of funds or likely judgment debt or financial malfeasance in a deal between the government of Ghana, GNPC, and a US-based company, that's Gensa Energy. Well, they held a press conference yesterday and raised their concerns.
Government has described as misleading reports of Ghana likely to incur $1.5 billion financial loss in an agreement between the GNPC and a US-based Ghanaian-owned energy company, Gensa Energy Holdings.
Now, some civil society organizations, including the Africa Center for Energy Policy and Imani Africa, revealed in a report that the deal in which Gensa committed to pay a reasonable price for gas to power embedded off-grid power plants it leases to various large mines and consumers in the cement and ceramic industries triggers possible financial recklessness on the part of GNPC.
Civil society organizations, including Imani Africa and the Africa Center for Energy Policy, ACEP, revealed that a contract between the Ghana National Petroleum Corporation, GNPC, and a US-based energy firm, Gensa, in which Ghana appears to buy gas at $95 million and sell to the company at $43 million, leading to a whopping $52 million loss, triggers some possible financial recklessness on the part of GNPC. This resulted in a meeting between the GNPC and the Mines and Energy Committee of Parliament on Tuesday. Speaking to journalists after the engagement, a Deputy Minister of Energy, Mohamed Amin, says the allegations are untrue.
Ghana is not losing money, and that is why I'm saying that such headlines can be misleading. You know, when you say that Ghana is losing 1.5 billion, I mean, and the analysis doesn't support that, then you are misleading the public. And so it is important you talk to the agency involved so that they will open the books to you. And GNPC is ready. They are available to open the books to whoever has concerns about that agreement.
The chairman of the Mines and Energy Committee of Parliament, Samuel Atashian, says the Ghana Gas, which used to be a subsidiary of the
So the minority raised those allegations, but government insists that there is no cause for alarm. And Sixtus, if you follow the story very well, it has to do with some arrangement between the government of Ghana, GNPC, some discounts as far as some...
It as usual boils down to transparency. Remember this deal? In fact, basically, all the not busts.
But usually these things have to do with, oil, energy, the sector,
and it's always a question of transparency. If you follow Imani and ACEP and the arguments that they have made, it boils down to transparency. So because we don't have much time, let's just say that we have to have access to the contracts, and I'm happy that the Mines and Energy Committee will be more interested in this. The minority says it will also take a keen interest in this. And we need the documents made available,
just like
the contracts made available, so that, there's nothing to hide. Open it up. Let people
and especially at the
themselves.
time you are facing economic difficulties, our way to the IMF, and you have a minority raise some concerns that the country is losing some amount. This 1.5 billion, which is almost half of the amount of money we are looking
to get
from the IMF.
So all of our contracts within the mineral resource area, it always boils down to transparency, engagement. Is the deal transparent enough? Are the stakeholders able to convince themselves by reading the contracts that there's nothing whatsoever the state stands to lose in this? And the media always comes in handy to blame. You heard the deputy minister. He's blaming everyone but for the public institutions involved in this. He's blaming, accusing Imani and ACEP of misleading the public, blaming the media for uninformed headlines. I don't think that is the way to go.
Let them bring the facts.
Open it up.
Let's see what the real situation is. Parliament also has a responsibility, its Mines and Energy Committee, to sit on this particular issue.
So, for instance, when he was busy accusing everybody, he could have stated some of the terms of that contract.
Exactly, to clear the air, so that we are all clear in our minds exactly what the situation is. But thank you so much, Sixtus Dong-Ullo, for being a part of this particular edition of CNR Extra. My name is Larte. I want to see you same time again tomorrow. Keep watching Citi TV.